We invest in two sectors. One is the automotive, the more advanced technology that enable electrical car, the future car. The other industries is medical technologies. We particularly focusing on diagnostics sectors because we think, as the world have more people, we are shortage of all sorts of medical resources, doctor, pathologies. So we like to involve in helping the doctor to relieve their work burden. So diagnostic using AI, using digitals will be our focus. Well, first of all, I have to be very grateful to Business Finland because through your organizations, you were able to introduce us in a short period of time about 30 companies in the period of 2016. So the first encounter I came to Finland is Slush in 2016. I really like the people here because of Business Finland. You guys have been so helpful. Running around Tampere, Oulu, there's another places called Tukka or something. You guys run all over these places to find a company that we like. And I was able to make quick decisions. So within, I would say 6 months, we decided to 4 companies, that we find 4 companies that we liked. And then by December, I finished my first Christmas shopping. So I deployed like 24 million into 4 companies, 2 in automotive and 2 in healthcare. So thank you. In Finland, the entire government is putting a lot of resources, like funding, in healthcare as well as education. So first of all, you have a lot of medical professional. You have the best healthcare system in the world. Okay, like even for us, we come to do health check in Finland, all right? And you have a lot of institutions like university that encourage medical practices as well as research and development. So I find out a lot of practical professional, not only they are doctor, but they are also a scientist, which is very unusual. Usually in the US, you either find scientists, but they are not practical as a medical professional. So in Finland, I find both. It is important because when you develop something, you want to know what kind of problem you're solving in a real society. What other patients are suffering and what social issue you are attacking. So I think in Finland, I will find more practical solutions to a medical problem all over the world. So by investing in this type of company, I believe is faster to market. And this is like innovative because the founder really know science and medical. My nickname is Firecracker. So what I mean is just like the Finnish culture is very direct. I like direct approach. So when I enter into a company as an investor, I like to find problems. So usually the first few months is tough because they get used to my styles, but I also not giving criticism by actually solving the problem together with the entrepreneur. So like for example, on the 4 company that we invested in, by 5 months after the investment, I bring them a tour to China. So in April, I have the automotive tours. May, I have the medtech tours. And I bring them to see how companies, how entrepreneurs work in another globe, in another part of the world, so that they feel the speed. Not just me preaching, but they actually see the market potentials in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in mainland China. And then we also have colleagues in United States. She's just, a young, energetic young lady. She cold call big company and was able to bring business development to all the portfolio company that we investing in. I think this is our unique difference. And we love doing it because I think that by giving money to somebody else, I do not expect people will grow the money for me. I don't deserve that. So I have to be part of the team to build the value. And that's what makes me very proud and make me very rewarding in going through the whole journey with the entrepreneur. Maybe I'll tell you a little story. Because in China, I also invest in agriculture. So I own a pig farm, okay? So to make the parable more easy to understand to the Finnish entrepreneur, usually these are tech people, I use my pig parables. So I told them there are probably 4 key points that you have to make yourself successful in any business. Number 1, you sell the pig before it is born. That means you do not every day invent the technologies. You need to sell it to the market to know whether you have a market or whether you have to fine-tune your products. So sell it before it is born. Number 2, cash is king. So when you sell something, sometimes you do not have to care about the price, okay? But make sure you collect the cash. Cash is important to survive. You must survive, because otherwise there is no tomorrow. Third lesson learned is everybody loves free pig. So when your product is not so good, but people willing to try it, give them a free product. Okay, they will be happy. They will forgive you, and they will be happy to try the second versions. And finally, customer is king. So always listen to your customers. So I think with these pig parables, every entrepreneur laughed, but they really understand the merit. Because in China, one, for example, benefit of the Chinese consumer, they can tolerate a first trial product. They're not so picky. They are happy if you tell them, oh, I'm sorry, this is not something you want, but we can fix it. And we are happy to send you the second version, the second product for free, but we want customer feedback. So I think the Chinese consumer market is a great place to try your product. That I've been trying to tell my company, don't be shy, but go fast. I think in general, Finnish people are very, very down on earth. They are very humble. Sometimes they underestimate their potential. So I would like them to be a little bit bold, a little bit aggressive, to talk about what the good stuff they are doing. I find that the entrepreneurs here are actually very mature people, because like you invest in China, in US, you see younger people, they have great mind, but sometimes they are not so sophisticated in business dealing or nurture a company, a fast-growing company. But I find in Finland, you have more mature people. So for me, I'm an old lady, so the age gap is better. It's better. So I really like, you got solid technology, not something that you claim you have, but actually it's a gap. So I find out no disappointment as far as what they tell me they can do. I usually can find out this is the truth. So this is very important. I would say government support, because you have Business Finland, you have TESI, you have all these government organizations to help and nurture a startup companies. I believe a lot of them cannot survive without all this help from the government. So I think the government put a lot of effort to build a startup communities. Okay, I mean, like you guys give them funding just to go to overseas, to Singapore. You create this slush event to bring in investors like us. I think this is something that I never see in other countries, the effort the government put in. So I think this is very great. And the government is not so bureaucratic. I mean, they are like very friendly people. A lot of the people that I met, they are actually from a VC world. Okay, so we're talking to people who actually understand the industry, not bureaucrats. Okay, so that's a good thing. Number two is a home base of Nokia, home base of many great technology like Suntos. So you already have the base to create good technologies, which other parts of the world may not have. And maybe you would take it as a negative, but Finland is so cold, so people tend to be working harder because there's less activities, you can do. So I find that entrepreneurs are more focused in the technology and building the stuff that they really believe in. So I think these are the second things. And the third thing is, I think Finland is a very friendly country. Like all these EU matters, I find less of that in Finland. It's very simple, like regulations, more transparent regulations. So that helped me as a foreign investors, easy to adapt to your countries, easy adapt to the food, easy adapt to the people. These last 12 months, I have seen on a global perspective a lot of protectionism. U.S.-China trade war, people all of a sudden, every country are protecting the IPR. They are very scared of many things happening, the trade barrier, whether, the blockage of, like, I have to come to you to invest in you before you can come to invest in me, and the acquisitions of a major company. So one thing I want to tell, like, myself, okay, is that only market-driven economy will nurture good companies. By protectionism, you put up war, you would not have great company and great entrepreneur, because only the market can tell who are the winner and who should be the loser. So I think that I hope the whole world, including Finland, will have a more open mind to working with other parts of the countries. I think it will be benefit a great deal.